Hey guys, it is a beautiful crisp day at the Cook's Warehouse and we are getting ready to cook some good, warm, heartwarming, soul-warming dishes up in the Cook's Warehouse kitchen. I'm Chef Melissa Pelkey-Haas and today we are making chili. Today we're going to do our classic red tomato-based chili. We're going to be using San Marzano tomatoes. We're going to be blanching some tomatoes for a little bit of texture. We're going to be using two different types of meat for our chili today. We're going to be using some ground chuck and we're going to be using chorizo. We're going to be using a mixture of beans. We have some light kidney beans and we have some dark kidney beans. We have a beautiful blend of peppers. We have some with different heat. We have fresh garlic. We have onions. And then we have all kind of fun stuff that you can enjoy with your chili. So let's get started. Today we're going to be using an excellent line of multi-cooker from Zavor. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. So this brand is a fantastic solid brand. Everything I've ever made, I use this at home, everything I've ever made comes out beautifully, perfectly cooked. One of my favorite features in this is a brown saute feature. So you can actually do everything you need to do for your chili in this pot. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add our onion, because we don't want to caramelize our onion, but we do want to saute it until it's transparent. Ooh, nice little sizzle there. So we're going to add all of our onion. I'm adding probably about 1.5 cups of diced onion. And this is just a regular yellow onion. Let me give that a little stir. I'll add just a little bit more olive oil. I don't add too much because we are going to get a lot of fat render from our chuck. All right, while we're waiting for that to cook down just a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and talk to you real quick about blanching. So we have blanched our tomatoes. I am gonna use a few fresh ones. Basically, the only thing that you want to do to blanch these is you want to just do a really quick little score on the bottom. We're gonna drop those into a pot of hot water. And we're just going to blanch them for a few minutes until we can easily remove the skin. You know, I'm a proponent of always using the skin in recipes on vegetables because that does contain a lot of your nutritional content. But today, because those skins will cause a little bit of a textural issue in our chili, we don't want to have a nice bite and then pull out a tomato skin. So we're going to remove those, and blanching is just the easiest way to do that. So this guy cooks pretty fast on the saute and brown. After just maybe a minute or two, if even that, I think, you know, we're already getting to that translucent point. You can change the temperature setting for your brown and saute. Right now we're using about a 356 degree temperature. Being able to do all of this in one pot just makes things so much easier. And cleanup is an absolute breeze. All right, so our onion is nice and almost translucent. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a mix of peppers. So I'm gonna add a super mild banana pepper. That just really gives it a lot of flavor. I'm gonna add poblano. Again, a milder pepper on the spectrum. But that also gives it just a really, really nice flavor. And then we're gonna add just a tiny bit of heat and color with some red jalapeno. We're gonna add a little salt and pepper for seasoning. Guys, do not be afraid to season, especially chili. There is no good thing that can come of bland chili. No good thing. How pretty that is, right? So anytime, for the most part, a good rule of thumb is anytime you have a lot of good colors, you're gonna have a lot of good flavors. So because we're cooking this chili for a lot of people, I'm not gonna add a ton of heat to it, but if you wanna add additional heat to yours, we do have the lovely habanero. I'm gonna serve this on the side. I'm gonna go ahead and add some garlic, fresh chopped garlic. Now we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna turn the heat down just a little, and I'm gonna add some red wine to this. Little for the chili, lot for the chef. You can also use beer. You can use a little stock. We're just adding some wine for flavor. So we're gonna let that wine reduce. What you want it to do is to reduce enough to cook out the full alcohol flavor, and it's just gonna leave us with a really, really nice reduction. So that'll take about a minute or two in here, sometimes longer. I'm gonna go ahead and see how easily when you score and blanch these tomatoes, that skin comes off. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the skin. We're gonna go ahead now and add our blanched tomatoes. We're gonna give that a stir, and you can see that's reduced really, really nicely, even though we added those tomatoes really quickly. Next, we're gonna go ahead and add our chuck. And we're gonna let that brown a little. Isn't it super fabulous though? We didn't just have to drain it. We didn't have to put it in a pot. We didn't have to use a skillet. We didn't have to use anything except this one cooking vessel. Anything that says less cleanup for you, I am a fan of. Now we're gonna add some chorizo. And we are using a Mexican chorizo for this and not the Spanish version. You absolutely could use the Spanish, it's just gonna be a bit chunkier. I like this because mostly it's gonna be ground, so it'll blend in nicely with our chili, and it imparts a lovely flavor. If you've not used chorizo, it is fabulous. My favorite thing to do with this type of chorizo is to make mussels with a little bit of tomato, chorizo, onion. So good. Crusty bread. That's my love language. We're gonna add some more seasoning, because again, it's not gonna season itself. We really want a nice flavor with our chili. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add some chili sauce. We're gonna add some tomato paste. Go ahead and add a few diced tomatoes. In goes a little chili powder. There's some paprika. Add cumin. And a little Worcestershire. So anytime you're using your dry spice or herbs, you always want to make sure that you're going to have a little bit of time for it to cook. This is going to cook for a little bit, because it takes them longer to hydrate and release all of that really nice flavor. That's why a lot of times you'll have better flavor the next day after you make a dish, after it's been refrigerated and sat up for a little bit. So good. Add the rest of our diced tomatoes. That's about a can of diced. And I'm going to start adding our beans. And again, we have a mix today of our light and dark beans. Some people say chili is not chili with the beans. Some folks say chili is not chili without the beans. Today we are going to bean it up. We're going to give this a little taste, see where our flavor profile is. I'm going to add some more chili powder, a little more cumin, and a little more paprika. So this probably ends up being about a 1/4 cup of each. Boy, that is what you call love and comfort in a pot. Now we're gonna add some dark chocolate to our chili. Just gonna add about a handful of chips. That's gonna melt down into this, and it's gonna give it a really, really nice next level flavor. So from this point, we are going to adjust to slow cook. If you wanted to do this really quickly, you could do it on pressure cook, because we're gonna let this cook for a few hours. All right. So we've adjusted to slow cook on low, and we are going to just let this go. And what goes better with chili than homemade cornbread, right? So the first thing we did is we took a little milk and an egg, give that a good whisk. Then we're gonna add our dry ingredients, cornmeal, flour, sugar, and baking powder. Now we're gonna jazz our cornbread up a little bit today. We're gonna add some peppers, and we're gonna add a little pepper jack cheese. And just put a little scoop. If you don't already know this trick, also another great use for an ice cream or cookie dough scoop. And we're just gonna fill our tins about 3/4 of the way. I'm gonna top these guys with just a little cotija, because we're in the spirit of things here. Cheesy corn muffins. And then we're gonna pop these into a 400-degree oven for about 20 minutes. All right, guys, we are back. We have chili, we have corn muffins, we have all of the good things. I'm gonna take this out and show you how beautifully this turned out. Yes. Look at that rich, dark color. You see the red still there. You still see a little bit of the green. You see all of our meats in here, the beans. You see the steam. Perfect, perfect for this chili January day. So you can do all kind of things once you have your chili, just to give it a little oomph, a little next levelness. You can do a Chicago chili using spaghetti noodles. We're gonna use a little bit of rice. We have some cheddar cheese. We have some avocado. We have some extra poblano pepper. We have sour cream. We have fresh heirloom tomatoes. Have no idea how we have those in January, but we do, and it's beautiful. And then of course we have some cheese. We have a whole lineup of hot sauce, and we also have our jalapeno corn muffins. And of course, this is always better the day after, right? Just like spaghetti sauce and all those other things, that just the more the flavors sit in, the better they get. Oh boy. Comfort foods just make me happy. They just kind of make you smile. All right. I think for ours, I'm gonna slide in a little wedge of this tomato because it's just beautiful and be delicious on the rice. Let's go with a little cheese. Gonna put a little cheddar on here. You can add green onion if you like. Add a little more cheese. I'm kind of that cheesy girl. Right. I'm gonna add some avocado, because this gives you a lot of nice, good fat. I'm gonna add a little sour cream. And I'm gonna top it with just a couple more of our chilies. So with that, I am going to bid you guys adieu. I'm going to thank you for joining us for our video at the Cook's Warehouse, where we give you every excuse to cook. Cheers, y'all.